The forest breathed. It was a cold, damp breath on the back of your neck. The trees swayed like giants, their branches clawing at the night sky. A veil of mist clung to the ground, swirling like phantoms. No moon dared to pierce the oppressive darkness. Autumn had painted the leaves in hues of blood orange and deathly yellow. A final, vibrant cry before succumbing to winter's icy grip. A shiver ran down your spine. You pulled your jacket tighter, wishing you were back home tucked under a warm blanket. But there was no turning back now. You were committed to this adventure, no matter how much your instincts screamed at you to run. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and decaying leaves. It was the smell of secrets, of things long forgotten. A twig snapped in the distance, the sound unnaturally loud in the stillness. You froze, your heart pounding in your chest. You were being watched. "Come on, slowpokes!" Josh's voice cut through the heavy air. He was always leading the charge, eager to prove his fearlessness. You and your friends had been drawn to Cedar Vale like moths to a flickering flame. "You sure about this, Josh?" Emily asked, her voice tight with apprehension. "It's getting late," Josh scoffed. "Relax, Em, it's just a hike. Besides, haven't you heard the stories?" He grinned, his eyes gleaming in the darkness. "They say Cedar Vale is haunted." You rolled your eyes. "Yeah, and I've got a bridge to sell you." You didn't believe in ghosts. Of course, you didn't believe in a lot of things that went bump in the night. But there was something unnerving about this forest. "Let's just stick to the trail," Mia said, her voice laced with worry. "It's easy to get turned around in here." Her gaze darted nervously from side to side, as if expecting something to jump out from behind the trees. You tried to ignore the prickle of unease that crawled up your spine. You were with friends, it was still daylight, and you had a map. What could go wrong? "Did you hear that?" Chris whispered, his eyes wide. Sounded like someone screaming. You strained your ears, but all you could hear was the rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. "It was probably just an animal," you said, trying to sound confident. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. The stories about Cedar Vale were the stuff of local legend. Hikers vanishing without a trace. Strange lights seen dancing among the trees. Whispers of a malevolent presence lurking in the shadows. You had always dismissed them as nothing more than campfire tales. But now, with the darkness closing in, they seemed all too real. As you ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew colder, the silence heavier. The trees seemed to press in on you, their branches forming a tangled canopy overhead, blocking out the last rays of sunlight. The path beneath your feet grew fainter, swallowed by a carpet of damp leaves and gnarled roots. "I think we're lost," Emily said, her voice trembling. "Josh, I told you we should have turned back." Lost? Josh's bravado faltered for a moment, replaced by a flicker of uncertainty, but he quickly recovered, forcing a laugh. "Nah, we're not lost, just exploring." He pulled out his phone, frowning. "Great, no signal." Panic gnawed at the edges of your composure. The forest had grown darker, the shadows deeper. Every creak of a branch, every rustle of leaves sent shivers down your spine. You shone your flashlight ahead, but its beam was swallowed by the oppressive darkness. The air was thick with tension, heavy with the weight of unseen eyes. "We need to find the trail," Mia said, her voice tight. "Now." You all fanned out, searching for any sign of the path. But the forest seemed to have swallowed it whole. You were surrounded by an endless maze of trees, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The darkness felt alive, pulsating with unseen energy. A low growl rumbled through the trees, sending a jolt of fear through you. You spun around, your heart pounding in your chest, but there was nothing there. Or was there? "What was that?" Chris whispered, his voice hoarse. He stumbled back, bumping into you. You shone your flashlight in the direction of the sound, your breath catching in your throat. There, in a small clearing, stood a crude shrine. It was fashioned from rough-hewn stones, and at its center lay a collection of animal bones arranged in a spiral pattern. Strangely shaped symbols, runes perhaps, were etched into the surface of the stones. A wave of dizziness washed over you. The air around the shrine felt different, charged with a strange energy. You could almost feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. "This is creepy," Emily said, her voice barely a whisper. "Let's just go." But Josh was already moving towards the shrine, drawn to it like a moth to a flame. "Dude, check this out," he said, his voice laced with morbid fascination. He reached out and touched one of the runes. A cold wind swept through the clearing, extinguishing your flashlight and plunging you into darkness. A chorus of inhuman screams erupted from the surrounding forest, echoing through the trees.